So I'm pretty sure a lot of you all are happy that we got a break from COVID-19. But guess what? We're back. And right when I was saving something special, something else happened. This.
It still appears to be rare that an asymptomatic individual actually transmits onward. What we really want to be focused on is following the symptomatic cases. If we followed all of the symptomatic cases, because we know that this is a respiratory pathogen, it passes from an individual through infectious droplets. If we actually followed all of the symptomatic cases, isolated those cases, followed the contacts and quarantined those contacts, we would drastically reduce. I would love to be able to give a proportion of how much transmission we would actually stop, but it would be a drastic reduction in transmission.
Now, many of you all at this point, let me see, March, April, May, June. Many of you all at this point are already conditioned to the fear. So you're already used to the fear. So the fear is normal now. So anything that seems rational or truthful or makes sense, you all are going to reject it at this point. And we must also remember the goal of all of this is still the vaccine. Bill Gates said he wanted 7 billion people to be vaccinated. And Bill Gates also said that he will make a lot of money. I think he said it was 20 to 1. So he's looking to make over $250 billion. Yes, over $250 billion from one vaccine. But let's not focus on that right now. I want to focus on all of the backtracking and backpedaling these people have been doing these past few weeks. Let's listen to Dr. Fauci.
Because this is a virus that induces an immune response that people recover. The overwhelming majority of people recover from this virus. Although there is good morbidity and mortality at a level in certain populations, the very fact that the body is capable of spontaneously clearing the virus tells me that, at least from a conceptual standpoint, we can stimulate the body with a vaccine that would induce a similar response. There's no guarantee that the vaccine is actually going to be effective. As you well know, because we've discussed this many times in the past, that you can have everything you think that's in place and you don't induce the kind of immune response that turns out to be protective and durably protective. So one, the big unknown is it will be effective. Given the way the body responds to viruses of this type, I'm cautiously optimistic that we will, with one of the candidates, get an efficacy signal.
You know what? I think Dr. Fauci has more to say.
We can't stay locked down for such a considerable period of time that you might do irreparable damage.
It comes as Dr. Deborah Birx says there's been a dramatic decline in deaths, hospitalizations, and testing positivity rates across the states. But she says positive cases have either stalled or increased in Washington, D.C., Baltimore, and Minneapolis.
So we can see now that there's over a 50% decline in new hospitalizations.
I just find it funny that after Donald Trump sat down Dr. Fauci, he came back singing a new tune. And then after he suspended funding to the World Health Organization, they came back singing a new tune.
Nights like this, I wish raindrops would fall. Nights like this, I wish raindrops would fall. Nights like this, I wish raindrops would fall.
Now, they tried to backtrack on their statement, but I want to discuss the back and forth you've been seeing. Let's go down the list. First, they said don't wear the mask because if you wear the mask, it will help spread the virus. Then they said you had to wear the right mask. Then they came back and said you need to wear a mask so you don't spread the virus. Then they said, you know what? You all can make your own mask. So first, they said the asymptomatic people were the ones that were infecting everybody because they didn't know they had the virus. They were called carriers. But if you think about it, if a person is asymptomatic and they don't have any symptoms, then they're going to think they don't have the virus. It's actually genius because now everyone could potentially be a carrier. And because we didn't know who had it or who didn't, everyone should stay inside. Third on our list is surfaces. First they said the virus could be spread on surfaces. Then they came back and said, you know what? That's not the way the virus is being spread. And fourthly, at the end of all this, us, get affected 2 times more likely than everybody else. We are 2 times more likely to catch corona and die. My boy brought up a good point. He said the asymptomatic people don't have any symptoms. And I got to thinking, if they don't have any symptoms, then how could they be spreading the virus? Because they keep saying that the droplets are what's getting people infected. Droplets from coughing and sneezing. Some kind of fluid from the nose or mouth that's landing on people and going inside their nose or their mouth or whatever. But asymptomatic people don't have any symptoms, which means they aren't coughing or sneezing. So how could they be spreading the virus? But I know I have some people in the back of the class, so I'll say it again. Asymptomatic people don't have any symptoms. That means they are not coughing and sneezing, which means they are not spreading the virus. So when they said in the beginning that asymptomatic people were spreading the virus, that means they weren't being honest. They were not telling the truth. It didn't even dawn on me until he said it. I'm like, how did I miss that? But like I've been saying, it's a Peter Pan-demic. I never believed this whole carrier, secret carrier, COVID acting like a ninja. I never believed any of it. None of it made sense. None of it. I'm going to go out on a limb and say asymptomatic means healthy person in layman's terms. You know, I still find it funny that these people, these experts, are able to get on TV and flip-flop back and forth and nobody has a problem with it. But you must ask yourself, when they give the wrong information, what made them give the information? Think about it. What made them give the information in the first place? Were they guessing or were they lying? You see, I don't believe that people in these positions are that stupid. You wouldn't have gotten to that position being that stupid. I believe what they're doing is they're trying to confuse the people. Once you confuse the people, you can pretty much tell them anything. And again, at the end of all of this, there is a vaccine waiting. So as you see, they made George Floyd test positive. Again, they moved the cheese. All these protests are going on, but the face of the protests tested positive for COVID-19. And I guarantee they will use the protests as a reason to justify the spikes. You see, at the end of all of this, they will want us to get vaccinated. We will be the first ones on the front line to get vaccinated. I'm talking about black people, because really, this is all about us. They will use COVID-19 to fight racism. We will be the #1 participants in this Bill Gates experiment. And I believe that many of us will get it because they will incentivize getting the vaccine. You know, when I was very young, my mother told me that nothing is for free. So when I saw them giving out free flu vaccinations, I knew it was a setup. And COVID-20 is on the way. So when they start trying to restrict travel based on you having a vaccination or not, then you will see the people start to buck. You will see all these Republican, Trump supporters, rednecks, or whatever you want to call them, American patriots, you will see all of them really start to buck. And then you will see a real protest. And the military is not going to engage on their fellow white Americans. And listen, I know you all hate Trump, but his supporters will be the ones fighting for your rights, even if they don't like you. You see, everyone sees how we get treated, but everybody's happy because it's not them. But in the back of everyone's mind, they know eventually it will be me. And so everybody is looking to see how this whole thing is going to play out. They'll start with us, but they'll finish with everybody. Wait for it. Free Blanche, get money. Go.